flexible visibility and mental well-being system where you can get more one-to-one coaching clients in 60 days or less. And this is part of one of the techniques that I share with my clients. So let's get into today's content, a fuse. So why am I sharing with you pictures of a fuse? Well, fuse stands for, by definition, it's the definition of a fuse is an electrical safety device that can stop current from flowing if it becomes overloaded, or a device that is used to ignite an explosive device. See, the reason why I'm sharing with you what a fuse is, you're probably thinking you've gone a bit off tangent. I haven't, stay with me. Is because oftentimes when it comes to elements of ourselves, our behaviors, our well-being, we can often feel like a fuse. We can either go into this overwhelm mode and become overloaded, or we can explode and, you know, literally explode over other people. And like a fuse, this can be down to elements of our shadow self, the parts of us that we don't like to share with others because we're repressing, we're trying to be liked by them, we're trying to control ourselves. And so fuse actually stands for these things that help you to spot your shadow. Fear. Are you afraid that this aspect will make me unlovable? Are you afraid that this aspect will make you unlovable? That's the question you need to ask yourself when it comes to spotting your shadow. You, which is talking about the undesirable element of yourself. The undesirable. Sometimes we don't share elements of ourselves because we think people will like us less. Going back to the maybe people-pleasing element that forms part of the saboteur, which is in alignment with the judge. And so if you've ever watched the Judgment Detox experience or been part of it, you would have known that people-pleasing is a thing that helps to sabotage our everyday. And so when you're afraid of sharing parts of yourself that makes you feel undesirable, then that's you really dishonoring who you are. S stands for something. Are you judging someone or something, or even yourself right now when it comes to how you're showing up or your wellness journey? And E stands for embarrassed. Are you feeling embarrassed? Jealous, envious, shameful, any of those things, right? Well, again, is another way to spot your shadow. All of this is fuse. The fear, the undesirable, the something, the embarrassed. And it's just an easier way for you to remember certain elements of this part of what I'm teaching today, the whole technique to amplify your well-being in your coaching business. Because when we are thinking about well-being, it goes way beyond let's just do affirmations, let's take time out, and it goes into healing part of ourselves and honoring parts of ourselves and integrating elements of who we are that we sometimes have ignored because the world's told us, or we've told ourselves through many different experiences, that we're just not enough in some element or shape or form. Because at the end of the day, our shadow is part of us, right? And every time we try to wipe it away or do away with it, it comes back again, but comes back even stronger and stronger. So what's this got to do with ACE? Well, once you can spot the shadow, once you can spot that thing that you are trying to squash down, you can look at ways to accept yourself. This is the first part of acceptance. First part of ACE, which is acceptance. So true or false, acceptance helps reduce what people experience as negative. So again, the reason why we create this shadow self is because we've had a negative experience and we're trying to make sure that we don't have another one. So does acceptance help reduce what you've experienced as negative? Does it help to reduce it? True or false? No judgment here. Go ahead and think and let me know in the comments, or write it down in your journal as part of your journaling work for today. True. It has been perpetrated that it takes 5 positives experiences to counter 1 negative. Or more generally, your brain responds to positive events like Teflon and negative ones like Velcro. So if you've not heard of these expressions, Teflon is like that thing, that material that slides off you, and Velcro is like the material that sticks onto you. So if you are constantly perpetuating these experiences that are negative, then you need to go out and find those positive experiences, or be mindful of the experiences that are coming to you that are positive, and anchor those in so that they become more meaningful for you. And just to be clear, acceptance doesn't mean by any stretch of the imagination that you've resigned from it. It takes a huge amount of fortitude and motivation to accept what is, especially when you don't like it. So, this is about knowing that you've got these resources at your disposal, both inner and outer, to mitigate, to heal, to redirect, and change what can be changed. And I think the key phrase here is change what can be changed. We often worry about things that we cannot change, and so the things that we can change, we often don't even do anything with. And so it's so important that we learn to use the power of acceptance so that we can change what can be changed. So that's the power of acceptance. Remember, what we're doing here is using a technique to help amplify your well-being in your coaching business. So if something goes right or wrong in your launch, it's about knowing, okay, this has gone right, I'm going to anchor that in. This has not gone so right. This is perhaps, there's elements here that I would have liked to have improved. So I'm going to find 5 good things within this launch that went really well. That's how you can use it. So if you haven't seen my previous episodes on the fastest way to stop negative self-talk, go to that episode and you'll be able to go through a framework that helps you to do that. It's on different platforms and you can go watch it now. So the second part of ACE is communication, because here we're talking about ACE as an acronym, but also that there's a really good way to think of ACE too. In different games, we see the ACE card as this high value card or this low value card, which causes us to have this black and white thinking, which is a cognitive dissonance challenge that we need to kind of be aware of. And so rather than it being, worthy or worthless, we need to think of the balance, the in between. So we can't, thinking of ourselves as good or bad, right or wrong, isn't very helpful. The world's not black and white like that. And so we need to reframe the way that we see ourselves and start to communicate that into the world. So how do we do that? So this is the seeds of potential. If you've ever looked at anything to do with personal development, you would have seen many people look to tarot because it's grounded in psychology and Carl Jung's work in terms of archetypes. And some of the archetypes, like the Ace of Wands, Ace of Cups, Ace of Swords, Ace of Pentacles, they all allow you to see different elements of the mind, how you feel, what you see, what you hear, how you act. These are just different elements of you as one that perhaps you haven't always looked at. So rather than communicating and thinking of it intrinsically as one way, how can you look at communication as a tool that's much more holistic and isn't just one way? There's lots of the seeds of potential here are kind of looking at, okay, what emotions am I feeling here, and how can I look at this as an opportunity to grow in this time? What's the opportunity here? What's the gift? So I normally go into depth with these things, but I've spoken around tarot before, and so if you want more information about that, so that we get into the crux of the things when it comes to communication, I'm happy to go deeper. But for now, look at it as different elements of communication that helps you to look at different parts of the way that you like to present in the world. So communicate. So let's communicate with yourself, communicating intrinsically, and communicating with others externally, so extrinsically, so that you're not just going into hermit mode. Again, another archetype where you're being so insular that you're not allowing the world to support you. You want an award to support you. So communication is really key here. Getting the right support. How can you tap into the right support? How can you ask for what you need? How can you make sure that you have not gone days without those needs being met, intrinsically and extrinsically? What do you need to ask for? All of those types of questions that you could use the Ace of Wands, Ace of Swords, Ace of Cups, Ace of Pentacles to explore further. And the next part 3 goes to exploration, which I kind of gave away. And so oftentimes when we're going through our journey, when it comes to our businesses, we always see it as the sort of straight road, where we have to kind of keep going ahead and reduce the distractions, maybe reduce going into parts of the forest, so to speak, that might take us off course. But what if whatever path you chose still got you to the same destination, but you could choose the path that you enjoyed the most? So how do you do that in you know, the everyday, in a grounded way? Exploration's all about looking at the different options, the ones that light you up, the ones that bring you joy, the ones that make you feel much more authentic in who you are. So you're not just not doing the survival technique, you're not just not doing the technique or the strategy or the way that the shadow wants you to because you're in survivor mode. You want to make sure that you've explored all these different options and you've chosen the one that works best for you. They say when you're writing headlines that you write 10 to 15 different headlines and you choose the one that you best resonate with. And it's the same with our coaching business. You choose the one that you resonate with, the one that doesn't make you feel like 2 days down the line, a month down the line, I regret that decision. Knowing that you can be much more mindful about the way you want to move forward helps you to enjoy the journey rather than think of it as I need to get to the next destination. This will help you to really enjoy the process. So exploration is the last element of it. So if you haven't seen before, hey, have you watched the 4-step framework to mentally well and profitable visibility to attract coaching clients? It's a mouthful, but it's so worth watching. Click the link to register so that you can get access to the talk that's happening very, very soon. Go to bit.ly/Ruth-Ellen LTB. Again, that's bit.ly/Ruth-Ellen LTB. Click the link in the description so that you can watch the 4-step framework